What's up, fight fans? Thank you once again for coming through, much appreciated. Alright, let's get into it. Vitali Klitschko, who I think is arguably, the best heavyweight since Lennox Lewis, Evander Holyfield. I think that's pretty easy, in fact. I think Vitali Klitschko competes in any era of heavyweights. I think he's that dominant, that strong, fantastic care record, one of the best care records of any heavyweight in the history of boxing. In fact, one of the best care records of anyone in the history of boxing. Fantastic fighter. Only lost twice in 2 defeats. That was due to cuts and injuries. Obviously, everyone remember that Lennox Lewis defeat where he was up on the scorecard and somehow, somewhere, he survived that Lennox Lewis uppercut from hell. And Chris Berg, where he was, I think, was a shoulder injury. So, legitimately, he's never really been beaten, which is unbelievable. He's never really been beaten, and it's just been dominant. Didn't fight in the best era of heavyweights, but when he did, kind of just, what was he again? Is he Dr. Iron Fist or Dr. Stillhammer? I think he's Dr. Iron Fist, but I think Vitali Klitschko is just an unbelievable heavyweight. A couple of things he said, the good interview with Fight Hub. Check it out on Fight Hub TV, a YouTube channel. I was talking about Vladimir Klitschko, his brother, obviously, against Anthony Joshua. A couple of things that sprang to mind straight away from the interview was that he said Anthony Joshua was lucky. He said in the 6th round, as they went back to the corner, I think that was after the knockdown, when AJ got knocked down, he said to Vladimir, his advice to Vladimir was take it easy, don't rush him, go slow, because someone like Anthony Joshua, in terms of that being muscle bound like that, will, you know, it'll take long to recover. Just take it easy and you're going to get the stoppage. And he said he's fought for giving Vladimir Klitschko that bad advice, when really and truly Vladimir Klitschko should have done what everyone was shouting at him, or everyone that wasn't an AJ fan was shouting at him to do, which is literally rush AJ. AJ was out of there, he was gassed. Instead, he was Vladimir Klitschko cautious, the one that we've seen for years, took his time, didn't really land that big punch again, and then Anthony Joshua got his 2nd win. So he blamed himself for that victory. Another thing he said in the interview was that he doesn't, he didn't say he didn't really rate AJ, but he said he wants to see at least 2 or 3 more victories before he crowns in the new king of heavyweight division. And I agree with that. I think AJ, although many people have him as the #1 heavyweight in the world right now, I do think we need to see him in against a Tyson Fury and against Deontay Wilder, maybe even Luis Ortiz if he can sort out the VADA issues going through right now before we do crown him #1. I've clearly said on a number of videos, even though people have called me biased towards AJ, I've said I still think AJ is a novice. I still think he makes numerous mistakes. And I still think that every fight, especially against the top guys, i.e. guys that have been around the top 10, could be difficult because they're veterans. All the guys that AJ's fighting will be a lot older than AJ. I mean, look at the likes of Alexander Povetkin, Kubrat Pulev coming up. So they're older than him, they've got more experience, they've been in there for a longer time, and they'll show tricks that AJ hasn't seen. So he's got to be careful. And I think Vitali Klitschko alluded to that himself. He joked about coming back and avenging his brother's loss, and that's the one that got me really intrigued. He's only 45 years old. He's only 45 years old. He's retired more because I think there's a couple of reasons he retired. #1, there really wasn't many options for him in terms of fights. There really wasn't. Vladimir Klitschko pretty much cleaned up all the belts, and he was holding on to the WBC, and hence why he relinquished it and why Bermane Stiverne fought for it. Was it against Chris Arreola and then obviously against Deontay Wilder? So there wasn't really, in terms of competitors that get the juices flowing, guys that make it exciting for you, there wasn't none of this new crop that we're seeing now. #2, obviously injuries. You know, he suffered from a number of injuries, which I think limited, in the latter stage of his career, probably limited his punch power a bit. Remember, Derek Chisora went in there and survived all 12 rounds of him and didn't really look too phased, did Chisora? Remember, Chisora was a novice at that time. And also, Shannon Briggs, although he bust up Shannon Briggs just wouldn't go down. And you kind of feel like a younger, more healthier Vitali Klitschko would have just got rid of Shannon Briggs. So I kind of wonder if that diminishes punch power a bit. So a number of reasons kept him out of the ring. He again joked about coming back and defending his brother and maybe fighting AJ and knocking AJ out. I don't know. 45-year-old Vitali. I personally, I've said it to a couple of people, both off and on camera, I think Vitali, if he can get into even 60% of the shape he was when he was fighting, which is what, 3-4 years ago, kicks everyone's ass. Destroys everybody. Literally goes in and just annihilates everybody. Have you seen that clip where I think it's an Australian clip, where the guy goes round, I think his daughter gets slapped, and he goes around and slaps everyone. Boom, boom, boom. Have you seen that clip? Because police come in, slaps them. That's what Vitali would do to every single heavyweight in the world right now. I don't care how big they are, how strong they are, how muscle bound they are. Vitali would destroy them, and that's my firm belief. They asked him if he's still active. He said, look, he goes to the boxing gym 3 or 4 times a week. He does skipping 3 or 4 times a week. He hits the punch bag, hits the speedball bag. So he does a lot of stuff still. So he's still relatively in good shape. And I don't think it will take long for him to get in good shape. I don't know if the comment was tongue-in-cheek about him returning. Probably was. But it'll be interesting, right? Him trying to avenge his brother's loss. The heavyweight division could need a bit of injection. I mean, it's fights that would be big. Him versus Deontay Wilder, him versus AJ, him versus Fury if he comes back. These are very, very good fights. The depth in the heavyweight division isn't big. But do I think it was a joke? Possibly. But there's nowhere... Look, he was the killer of the two. Vladimir was the killer. Sorry, Vitali was the killer. Vladimir was the younger brother wanting to be his older brother. He's a bad motherfucker. And I think it's a shame that we didn't get to see him in against the likes of Evander Holyfield, maybe even Mike Tyson and other sort of heavyweights that kind of just left the scene as he and his brother were coming. But nonetheless, Vitali has spoken. He wants to avenge his brother's loss, which obviously was a bit of a joke. He called AJ lucky. I kind of get that, and I think it's a bit of a piss take for him to do that. But nonetheless, it's his brother. He was still upset, and he thinks that AJ still needs to maybe win 2 or 3 more fights, which I agree with, before he can be crowned the best heavyweight in the world. What do you guys think? Go over to Fight Hub and watch the interview. Very interesting one. But yeah, that's it. Leave your comments below. Peace.